Hello, it's Chris here from Each Confide. If you've been paying any attention to what we've been doing the last week or so, our brand new single, You and I, is now available on all streaming platforms and it's had an amazing response, so we're really thankful. Thank you very much to everyone who has been listening and streaming and sharing all the amazing write-ups and the radio play we've had. It means the world to us. Thank you so much. But if you have been paying attention, you'll notice that we posted a video on our YouTube channel about a week ago where Craig done a breakdown of the track You and I, and it was really interesting. If you've not watched it, I would highly recommend you go and watch this and then come back and watch this here, or you can watch this and then go back and watch his one. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. We just hope you enjoy and find it interesting. What we're doing today is I'm going to be going through You and I from a more lyrical point of view, so we'll call it a lyrical breakdown or a lyric breakdown or something like that. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. I am not a technical wizard. Craig is significantly better than I am. So his audio quality will have been better. He had like a green screen and stuff so he could be in amongst everything. I don't have the ability to do that. Not necessarily the want to learn how to do that, at least not at the minute anyway. Yep, it's definitely worth keeping note of that Craig's video was definitely of a higher quality, but we will go on anyway. It's also worth noting, both Craig and I firmly believe that music is very subjective. We have written this song and put our own meaning into it, but you might listen to it and take something completely different from it, and that's okay. That's the sort of discussion we want to be having with people. We want people to take something personal for themselves from our music. So I will talk about our perspective and how we wrote the track, but if you have your own meaning or if you've attached your own meaning to it, that's absolutely fine and we really welcome that. We don't want to tell you what to think of the song, basically, but you better like it. Hopefully you enjoy, and I'll probably do some sort of transition. Who knows? Hello, it's future Chris here. I'm just going to quickly interrupt myself and let you know that I am a big idiot. I got to the end of filming this whole video and realised that I hadn't been sharing my screen at all. So rather than go back through the whole thing and re-record it a bit more disingenuously, I'm going to leave it as it is, and I'm going to put links to our lyric video and things like that, so you can get more of an idea of what the track's all about. I do sincerely apologise. Like I said, I am not a technical wizard, and I wouldn't prove that to you. But please enjoy the video, enjoy the track, and I will see you soon. Back to me being an idiot. First of all, what is You and I about? So the way that we like to tell it is that it's essentially just a conversation you're having with yourself where you're maybe in a bit of a time of turmoil or a bit of conflict or something, and you're almost giving yourself a bit of a pep talk. You're talking yourself through it. When we first had the track, we obviously had the bare bones, as you'll see from Craig's video, and trying to find something to fit within that was a bit of a challenge. It can be with the way that we write music, because lyrics and melody and stuff generally tends to come a bit later on in the process. Trying to attach something to this sound was certainly a challenge. I'm actually going to pull up one of the old sessions that we have of the track, so you can hear the track at its bare bones, and you can kind of get the idea of me trying to work out something. So here we are now over at our GarageBand session for the track. A lot of people are quite surprised, actually, and Craig didn't touch on this too much, but they're quite surprised that we use GarageBand for a lot of our songs, but it's actually I think it's quite easy, it's quite intuitive to use, and I mean, we've done every song we've done so far on GarageBand, and I mean, it's turned out pretty well. So we might move on to something like Ableton or something else later down the line, but at the minute we're quite happy with what we do here. So I'm going to just play the chorus for you without any vocals. This is an older session as well, so it doesn't have any of Craig's vocals. So there's been a lot that happened to the track since then, it kind of tightening it up and things like that. But this will give you a rough idea as to what we were working with when we wrote the track. So we always kind of start with the chorus and then work back from there. Often we find that we'll get lyrics and a melody and then kind of mess about with that and see how it will all fit, and once it does, we write the rest of the song around it, and kind of so that our verses complement our choruses and make them as, you know, impactful and powerful as they can be. So here is the chorus. So it's as simple as that, really. Not too much different from the verses, just, you know, a couple of effects in here, such as these. So I'm pretty sure Craig touched on this in his video, but we cut on and chopped all these up because it was a longer sample, and we chopped it up to make it sound a bit more, I don't know, choppy, I suppose. That definitely helped with writing the melody for the track. So I'll play a little bit with the vocals. Those little cuts helped me get how I wanted the chorus to go. That's where I got the do-do-do-do. That's the first thing that came to my mind, and then I decided to write around that. So going back to the lyric sheet, you'll see here in the chorus, nowhere to go, your mind's in trouble. So nowhere to go was the first thing that came to my mind, and I just ran with it. Often as a musician, I find myself being my worst critic, so I will take a lyric and overthink it to the point where I either think it sounds too cheesy or doesn't sound good at all or something like that. This is a case where I've decided just to write with the first thing that came to my head, and then I've built around that, and tried not to get too in my head about it, which is really easy to do when you're writing a song, because you're always concerned about what people are going to think, but really what you should be concerned about is what you think. If you do music and you write songs and you release it, you have to go with your gut sometimes, and 9 times out of 10 I firmly believe that your gut's right. Write music for yourself, and other people will hopefully enjoy it too. So we're going to now listen to the chorus properly, and we will get a rough idea of how we went from A to B, and then we'll go through what we get from the meaning of that. Nowhere to go, your mind's in trouble. Don't you think so? 'Cause you're just scared of being alone. No need to lie, you're in denial, thinking you need a second. This world, this not just you and I. Navigating my life, looking through. So this is the real part of the track where I definitely feel that you're having a bit of an inward talk to yourself. You're acknowledging that you're having a bit of trouble, also acknowledging your fears and things that I guess scare you most in life, and then you get through into the final section where you just decide that you need to take a moment and get through it. This really kind of relates to a lot of personal experience in the past, different struggles and getting through difficult times and things like that, and just this sort of, I guess I hate to use it so much, but pep talk that you give to yourself to get through it, but also echoes a lot of conversations I've had with other people who have kind of just said we can work this out together and things like that. So there's a lot of different meaning you can take from that, but what I've done here is write a very simple but heavy in terms of content or context lyrics. So Craig was then able to take that and run with the verses. I think the great thing about this track is that it's so upbeat, and it's got a nice movement to it. It flows really nicely. But if you stop and take a second and listen to the lyrics, they're a bit heavier, and you know, there's a bit of a weight there of, I suppose, darker lyrics, and there's a nice contrast, you know, of what you show on the outside when you're struggling versus your internal struggles, really. So we're going to go through the verses now. Again, I'm not wanting to put any of our meaning onto you. You can take whatever you would like from this track. That's the beauty of music. So let's give verse 1 a little listen. So this is the magic of Craig Russell Horn. It's really interesting. He's taken what I've done and he kind of went on a bit of a deep dive with it and explored that feeling of feeling a bit lost and conflicted and not sure what to do, and knowing that you're going through such a tough time and you're headed for catastrophe, as it says at the end there. But he's definitely taken what I've said and ran with it to a point where you really start to feel the character of the songs real struggle, and using, you know, words like war and catastrophe, like sound the alarm, like it's all given, it's emoting, you know, a state of panic and, you know, a real scary time for the character of the song. Then you take that and contrast it with how the song sounds, as I've said before, and you've got this weird juxtaposition of someone who's really struggling, but on the outside they seem absolutely fine. And I think this is one of our more triumphant efforts of trying to convey that sort of contrast between the lyrics and overall sound and feel of the track. If you also take into consideration on top of that the fact that we've used different harmonies to sort of emulate the vocoder, it's really interesting because, at least to my ear, despite the sort of robotic sort of sound you get from the vocoder and the harmonies, with the heavy autotune which we use as an instrument itself, it's not because we don't think we can sing. It really shows emotion still through, it cuts right through the robotic of it all, and really the emotion and the performance and the lyrics, it really comes through. I think it's, from my perspective, it's really interesting, and I hope you're finding this interesting as well. So let's move on and we'll go from verse 1 over to the second verse. Verse 2, Craig is delving deeper into, I guess, the psyche and the mind of the character of the track. Looking through a kaleidoscope is, obviously a kaleidoscope's one of those things where you've got the colours and the shapes and they're moving. You're looking through your life through a kaleidoscope. You know, it really conveys that sense of confusion and feeling disorientated and things like that, and it really helps drive home that dark feeling that has been conveyed throughout the track of, no matter what you try and do, nothing seems to work. You know, you're not feeling great within yourself, and you don't know where to go next. Every door you try and open, it's a locked door. Just the unfortunate reality of some people with depression or any other form of mental health struggle is sometimes a door that seems open or is open, there's a block there, you can't get through it. It feels like you've got the wrong key. I think Craig really sums that all up with crashing up against walls and locked doors. You're slowly losing hope. At that point, you're every time you try and get yourself feeling better, you know, you have that discussion, you reach out, you know, sometimes it doesn't always work. It's the harsh reality of it, unfortunately, and Craig's done a really good job of conveying that internal struggle here. And then, like I say, you throw out that line for help, and this is what the end of these lyrics really put across. If you can see me down here, throw me the guide rope, that's, you know, you're looking for help, you need to try and find a way out of this situation. You better act quick because I can't cope. It's really, you're at the end of your tether. To me, the darkest part of the track, where you don't know how much longer you can put up with this internal struggle, this real heavy battle that you're fighting. And if you take what I just said there in the context of the first verse, where we're talking about a war, you know, this is again, you're wrapping everything into a nice bow, or maybe not a nice bow. If you think about the lyrics, it all ties in together in some way, and it's showing the harshness of mental health and the reality that surrounds it and how people feel. And to double down on that harsh reality, the whole track, as I've said before, is masked by this happy sounding track. You know, it's like when you leave the house and go to your work or school or see your friends down the pub or whatever. You put on a mask to make people think you're okay, but inside you're struggling and you're looking for help. It's a heavier song for us, and it's slightly chill in comparison to some of our other upbeat tracks, but it's definitely got a bit of a soul in there. So there you have it. That is You and I. That's a somewhat brief lyric breakdown of what we put into the song and what we also took out of it as well. If you enjoyed this, please let us know. We would love to do more stuff breaking down tracks. We'd like to do it together as well, where we're not having to do it individually, and I can make use of Craig's better production. It's also worth mentioning that if you do have any struggles or you need to talk to someone, we've put a little link in the description. It's okay to not feel okay. But until next time, please give the track a stream. You and I is available on all streaming platforms. You can give it a share it on your Instagram, your Facebook, your X, Twitter, anywhere you feel you want to share it, or even just give it a listen. We really, really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up, and we'll take that as you want more from us. But until then, enjoy the track, and we will see you very soon.